All right, hi there. I'm Ulf, and you are?
Victor.
Yeah. And we've spent the last week, we're in Chesterfield County Jail, and I have the privilege of joining your HARP family program, helping addicts recover progressively. And as I've understood, it's not actually recovering from addiction, it's recovering your soul, yourself, finding out who you can be and navigating past sobriety into whatever you wish for. That's possible, right?
Yes.
And so I'm just curious, and I'm doing these recordings to inspire people in many different ways. What is it that made you start? What's the point in your life that you remember that this was the point where if I hadn't been there, I might not have been here?
The first time?
Yeah, first time you used or came in contact with drugs.
The first time I used was alcohol.
Okay.
My parents were divorced, and my dad, sorry.
That's okay.
My dad he was an orphan, so he didn't have his parents. So to him, I think it was very easy, just leaving.
Yeah.
So he went back to Mexico.
Yeah, because he didn't have parents. So to him, it was natural to grow up without parents. So if he left you, it wasn't really harming you. Maybe.
Yeah. So when he left, I had just felt that we had just started bonding after a long time, because I was left in Mexico for.
How old were you?
I was 17. But that was the second time he left, because the first time we had to go back to Mexico to get citizenship. So I was 9 years old when I was sent back to Mexico, and by just my sister and myself.
How old was your sister?
My sister she was going to be 11.
Okay, so you were sent without anybody? Just put on a plane?
At first, my uncles in Mexico were taking care of us, but I guess we were too much to handle. So we had a house in the country that was maybe 3 miles from the town, and we stayed there with no electricity, no running water. It was just me and her.
And an uncle?
Nobody.
Nobody?
Yeah, after a while, it was just nobody. So
they just left you in a house in the woods, 3 miles from town?
And they would send us $100 each a week, but
I'm sorry if I laugh.
Yeah, which I saved up and bought
You did?
horses, cows for myself. My sister just spent it on her stuff. I don't know what she did.
But that's incredible.
But
that's what we call childheaded households.
Yeah, so I had to man up and take care of my sister, because she was she used to be scared of a lot of stuff. So I had to walk about 1.5 miles every day to go to school with her, and I did have 7 dogs though. So those are my friends that were my friends.
What kind of dogs did you have?
I was picking up strays everywhere.
Oh, strays. Okay.
Yeah. So
I was thinking you were getting into the safety issue with tough dogs.
No, and after he left, they left us there for 2 years. I got bullied a lot, because it was I was a foreigner in my own land, because I couldn't speak Spanish correctly.
Did you go to school?
I did go to school. That's where I learned my Spanish.
And your sister went to school as well?
Yes. And so then when I came back, I couldn't speak English. I spoke English, but I had a really thick accent. So I dedicated a lot of time to learn it, so I wouldn't have that accent and I wouldn't get picked on. In Mexico, I used to get beat up every day for a year, because I didn't speak Spanish. But the girls loved me, but the guys hated me.
And they probably hated you because the girls loved you.
Yeah, and so I had to toughen up really, really fast. So a lot of my childhood memories, there's only about a handful that I can remember that were good, and the other was just surviving. And there was a lot of stuff that just went down. My sister, they tried to rape my sister. I thought I had killed somebody with a big rock, because I was little.
What age were you there?
I was 10.
10, trying to save your sister from being raped with a rock?
I did save her.
You did save her, and you thought you killed somebody?
Yeah, because I was little. I was really short, if you can believe me. I was short till I was 17. I was 4'11". That messed me up a little bit. But
a little.
But from that day on, though, I never not fought back.
Of course.
So my whole life, I've grown up fighting, defending myself. Yeah. But I didn't take it to the extreme where I was beating up everybody. I would just beat up people that were bullying other people.
So you started standing up for other people.
Yeah.
So when did the liquor enter?
When I came back to the States.
Right. Okay. How old were you when you came back?
14. So I started just drinking, and I didn't do any hard drugs till I was 17.
But were you still kind of alone because you were a little bit not too comfortable?
I was
with
very
people?
shy.
Yeah.
I was very shy. Like I didn't do good. Like the only thing I did good was in soccer, which is football.
Yeah.
But for me,
You see, I have a theory about that. It's called developmental trauma. It's not mine, but let's for the sake of it, I don't claim it to be truth. But when all the other kids are learning to be social and learning how to interact and learning what the social rules are, if you're then just trying to save your life and the life of your sister, then you're missing out on those skills. You don't have the skills. So being shy is not because you're a shy person. It's because you have no idea on how to socialize. Does that make sense?
yes, it does make a lot of sense. So I started drinking, but I was really smart. Like I was getting A and B honor all the time, but like I love history. I love other languages. Like I took 4 years of French, so I
speak French?
Je parle un peu. Je étudié l'école 4 ans.
Ok. Pero hablas español bien.
Muy bien. Okay. Español lo hablo bien igual que mi inglés.
Well, yo también.
They know that. That's good. But yeah. So high school, like I started getting in trouble with driving, and I was drinking. And
but what was the actual? I mean, what was the incentive to start drinking? Was it you saw somebody else, or was it?
Yes,
felt good?
I met a girl, which
I saw the smile on your face. That's a micro smile.
yeah, I met a girl which is as the mother to my firstborn. She's Chanel. She's 20 years old. She's in VCU. Okay. So I started drinking to fit in, but then I started abusing it because once I would see my parents argue. Like I had to take my dad off my mom a lot of times.
Same way you had to take somebody off your sister.
My grandfather and my dad used to always go at it too, and like so I would have to be in the middle of that too. So a lot of the times I would leave the house. Like I've been working since I was 6 years old. So like I like to make money, and I was in the FBLA. So I was working for a law firm and going to school. And I would do like side jobs in the weekends, and I bought my own truck when I first got my license. And so in the middle of the night, I remember I used to just push my truck, because we lived on the hill, so that helped. And I would push my truck down the driveway. Once it started going, I would put it in first gear and leave, and I would go visit my girlfriend. And
you had no battery?
Excuse me?
No battery?
Battery?
No starting generator?
Yeah, but I didn't want them to hear the truck.
Oh, you didn't want them to hear it.
So I pushed it down, and once I started rolling,
yeah.
I would start it. And so I would leave like that, and then I would call like from her house and be like, oh, I left early because I wanted to study and whatever, and I would go to school. I wouldn't miss school because she was going to school, so I would just take her to school. But
you started drinking. She didn't start drinking.
She's the one that got me like into that, and that's the first time I was introduced to cocaine. And
what was it with the cocaine that made you?
I was able to focus a lot more
in a different way.
Yeah,
it's very short. I mean, it's just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and like I was an adrenaline. Like I loved the chaos. And I would seek that. So and sometimes I feel now that if I saw somebody like picking on somebody, it's like I wanted to find somebody that was messing with somebody else, so
that you could get rid of the adrenaline.
Yeah, and I got in trouble one time for it, but the principal was actually happy. Like he was at once the whole meeting went down. Like he was laughing with my dad and saying that a little guy beat up a big guy, but it's not the point.
So here's the deal. For me, I mean, this paints a background that none of this was actually your choosing. You didn't choose to get rid of your parents. You had no safety. No grown-up was reacting. No society was reacting. Nobody in school was reacting. Nobody of your parents or grandparents were reacting. So basically, in my world, I'm not saying it is, you can answer, that would mean a slight disappointment in society and a slight disappointment in parenthood, because they're the ones that should have done that. That's not up to you. You know, no kid should have to do that. That's what parenting is all about,
Yes.
right? So you lost out the information, skill, and resource that you needed to handle life, and the state you acquired by alcohol and cocaine, because it allowed you to super focus for a while and, you know, getting sloppy. And so if you look back, it sounds like to me it sounds as simple as if a real parental figure had appeared and provided safety for you and your sister, you wouldn't be sitting here. Would that make sense, or would it have taken more?
I think if I would have had the guidance from when I was younger,
I'm meaning 6.
yes, I think I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I would either be a lawyer or a doctor,
Yeah.
because that's where my main two that I wanted to be.
That you want to be, right? That's cool. You can still be.
Yeah.
There's time. You're far way away from 100.
But in the process, I worked a lot in construction. So now I do remodeling. I like doing tile decks. Like I could build a house from the ground up, and so that and then later on affected me because I didn't go back to the stuff that I wanted to do because I was good at doing this other stuff.
Yeah.
I made money doing this other stuff. So that's why I went.
So then we're coming to the crucial point. At some point, this escalated, right? And we don't have to go into the details. It escalated to a point where you were somehow presented with repercussions of the justice system.
Yes, I had 3 DUIs.
What's a DUI?
Driving under the influence.
Okay.
In a 2-year span, and that's when my dad left me. Like,
At 17.
Yes. I went into the military, and I went to the Navy. I was a airframe mechanic.
Did that help you?
It did to a certain point, because I did well. Like I got promoted from boot camp. Like I ran battle stations, got promoted. My girl was pregnant, so I was second in class for my C school. I chose my station in Norfolk because it was close to her, and I was doing really well until like I got in trouble there. I hit a senior chief because he called me a spick and was always sending me to do all the grunt work that I was not supposed to be doing. I was already a petty officer.
So your bucket ran over.
Yeah, and I blacked out. Like I beat him with an armrest, and then I went UA, which is unexcused absence.
Right.
And after that, I went back. They told me that I could either choose to stay 30 days in barracks, and I couldn't leave the base, or I would have to go to the brig. And I said, well, what's going to happen to the senior chief? They said, oh, well, they're just going to reassign him to another state, restation him. And I said, well, that's not going to stop. He's not going to stop doing that. Like, so I thought I was doing something right. I took a stand. I said, well, send me to the brig because I'm not going to stay here. And I only had 6 months left for my 5-year, and I threw it all away.
No, I had to intervene, right? You didn't throw it all away consciously. You weren't saying, I'm going to throw it all away. You had a life leading up to this point. This is my point of view. You don't have to agree with me. But in my point of view, your life led you up to a point of admirable survival, in my point of view, going through all that, and then coming to the point where you wanted to stand up once again, which you've done for your sister when you were like a baby boy, where you've done for your mom and your dad, and you've done it for other people. And when you get a blackout, in my world, the neurobiology of that is blackout is a flashback. It's a trauma reaction. Your brain goes off. You're into fight mode, and your brain is not consciously deciding to do this. This is like a defensive rage or a road rage, basically, right? And so to say the story, to say I threw it all away, is basically not taking in consideration that you're a mammal, you have a nervous system, and that was something that everything led up to. So all that was paused. And I'm just suggesting you say that to yourself and to stop the throwing away stuff.
Yeah.
Shame ain't gonna get you nowhere. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
So just to move it up to this, my dad, after 10 years of not seeing him and talking to him because I was mad at him, my dad, I was here for a possession charge from 2 years ago, and I went home on a bond, and my dad was here, and I thought he was coming back. To come to find out, my dad had been keeping that he had ALS from us, and he was very sick, and the doctor told us that he only had 6 months to live. I stopped everything that I was doing to take care of my dad. And for a month and a half, I lived with him, I bathed him, I changed him, and I wanted to talk so much stuff to him, but he couldn't speak anymore.
Oh, I understand.
So I just told him, like, Dad, don't worry about anything, I love you. I just wanted you to be okay. But it was hard.
Do you mind just doing your hands just slowly a little bit? Yeah.
It was hard because I had to swallow everything that I wanted to tell him.
Yeah.
And 6 months ended up being just that month and a half that he was here. And I was doing good. I had my job. I had everything I needed to do, but after that happened, I started isolating, and I thought I could do it by myself. And just like I've always been by myself.
Yeah.
But I can't.
No, you can't. We're flock animals. So you did nothing wrong. And I know it's not a big consolation, but you did get to bathe your father. You did get one and a half months out of those 6. A lot of people don't get that.
I know.
And we did a little exercise the other day.
And I told him, I sat him down in a chair and I told him everything I needed to tell him. But I told him that I was going to be okay, that I was going to make him proud, and that I understood him for where he came from, because his parents were killed when he was 8 and then 9. Mm-hmm. So that I understand, and that I can't blame him for my decisions, that I'm a man and that I take responsibility for my stuff.
So can you blame him for his decisions?
No.
No. And then you can't blame yourself either, can you? So is there anybody to blame?
Not for the life we've lived, no.
No. And what can you do about the future that's different? What's the what here?
It's to just appreciate everything in life, and even the bad moments, you have to learn from them, and you have to overcome them, and to actually help other people that they're in the same spot. Because you never know, like, one word can change their life.
One word can trigger something that makes them. And here's what we talked about this morning with the staff. It's like, we're humans, and we're traumatized, everybody is. And anybody on a bad day can do something really stupid. And anybody on a good day can be better than they thought they would be. So it's a little bit about what life serves you. It just happened to serve that word, that situation. But if you beat yourself up about it, that ain't gonna set anything right. All it's gonna do is keep you on pause. If you think about your dad now, can I ask you where he's in your head? What is the image you see in your head?
Smiling.
Smiling? Is it to your right, to your left, or in front of you?
To my right.
To your right. At a good distance, feels comfortable? Is there anybody else you'd like to have on your right?
My sister.
Yeah. Just humor me and close your eyes for a sec. And imagine yourself there between your sis and your dad. In a place and time where everything actually is understood. Not excused, but understood and accepted. You know the difference, right? Wrong is wrong, but if there's a reason for it, it can be accepted. So imagine yourself and all those two, all three, just smiling the family smile you wished you'd had a chance to smile during life. Just imagine that. Can you see it? And when you see it, what does that feel like?
Peaceful.
Peaceful? And how does that feel in your body when it's peaceful?
Relaxed.
Relaxed? And when it's relaxed, where in your body is it relaxed?
My heart.
And where in your heart?
The center of my heart.
And when it's relaxed at the center of your heart, what is that like?
I feel like I can breathe.
Like you can breathe? And if you can breathe like that from now on, how's the rest of your life going to be?
Great.
Great. And you're at HARP program. It's something you chose. You signed up for 52 rules. It's voluntary.
Yes.
If you would just describe in one sentence what that means to you, the HARP program.
An opportunity.
Opportunity. And if you just keep breathing and make the best of this opportunity. If you look into the future, 2 to 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 years, where you actually have been doing what you should and you're way past sobriety, doing the right thing, and when that word comes, you just breathe through it. When that trigger comes, you breathe through it. And you stay being everything you were all the way up to there. The guy who stands up for others, the guy who helps people who are being assaulted, the guy who wants right to be right, wants to stop what's wrong, and just has to find the way to breathe through so it can be done within what society allows, whatever that society is. If you think about that and you see that guy 20 years from now, how does that make you feel?
Very good.
Could you afford yourself to just try on the smile of that guy 20 years from now? La risa del futuro. And you keep that in your heart, in that center. How does that feel?
It's amazing.
Amazing. You're amazing.
Thank you. You're amazing.
So we're two. Or like Marley would say, we're one. I and I.
How'd you get to be like this, man?
Darkness and mistakes. Just like you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.